Hey, this is flipped the wrong way. There we go. Okay, we're here on East 12th Street, where we're going live, cold turkey. Why? Because there's no gas in this building. This is 325 East 12th Street. This is part of the Brook Hill Properties portfolio, buildings that were bought from the Tabak family last year. And it has no gas, and it's had no gas since May 18th. Let's examine some of what we got here. We got Banquet, made in the USA since 1953. I think that's turkey, that's not ham. I think those little squares are potatoes. The green things are definitely peas, but you know, they're frozen peas. No cooking gas is a raw deal. Ooh.
When the East Village freeze is over, gas may be restored.
Possibly.
Possibly.
188 days without cooking gas, and none through the holidays either.
Yeah, now that's kind of the serious issue here. This building has now spent over half a year without cooking gas because the landlord can't find the time to fix it.
Or the money to pay for the permits.
That's scary. Your sign is scary. Signage. We got somebody's happy this holiday. Yeah, take the thanks and the giving out of Thanksgiving. Exactly. Oh yeah, hey, didn't this work out badly in history once before? Let them eat cake batter. Hot air promises no gas. Yeah, that's been going on for quite a while in this building. We're talking about 325 East 12th Street. No gas.
All right, so happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Here we are at 325 East 12th Street, where for over 6 months we've been without cooking gas in this building. And that is not a very good thing when you're trying to just eat and live, but then have the extra added expense of going to restaurants to eat out, going to different places. This is all a gift to us from the beloved Mr. Rafael Toledano. Let's hear it for him. Oh! So I'd like to bring up someone who has been a champion for the people for such a long period of time. He's always been there for the TTC. Senator Brat.
Yeah.
Thank you to Cooper Square Committee for your advocacy. And let me just say to my neighbors and friends that this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable in the 21st century for a landlord to keep these good folks who are paying rent without gas so they can cook on their stoves, especially during Thanksgiving.
Damn right.
What does that say about the integrity of a business person like Rafael Toledano? I think it speaks to the worst of the landlord mindset. You would be denied a Thanksgiving dinner, a hot, cooked meal for Thanksgiving in your own homes like every other American expects during this time of year. I am outraged. I am absolutely outraged that this situation persists. And I urge the landlord to correct it immediately. I urge our housing court to issue the most stringent fines to this landlord. If this landlord gets away with it, every other landlord across the city of New York will have the message that they can do the same. And we are not going to stand for it.
Yeah.
Stand for it. No.
So, again, I am so distressed that you are not going to have the Thanksgiving dinner you deserve in your own homes. And that's because of a greedy, callous, insensitive landlord who cares more about profits than the people who live in his units.
Right on.
So thank you for standing up. We will continue this fight. You have not heard the last of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sister Callan is one of the tenants that live at 325. We'd like to have her come up and say a few words. Callan?
Can you say your name again, please?
Tracy Callan. I've lived in this building since October of 1977, so it's going to be 40 years soon. We had Mr. Tabak as our landlord for many years, and we didn't even realize how lucky we were that he treated us like people who actually had lives, and as long as we paid our rent, he was very civil. When Toledano bought this building in September a year ago, we began to see just how lucky we had really been. 14 out of 36 of the units in this building have been emptied and gutted. For anyone who wants to take a tour of the building, I'm happy to lead you up so you can see for yourselves. There are waving banners of plastic tarps on doors. There are locks broken out so that you can see into an empty building that's used as their slop sink or their mop, storage facility. In the beginning, when demolitions were going on, there were often workmen smoking pot in the empty apartments or screaming in the halls, and we would stick our heads out the door and remind them that we actually live here. We've been in court on this HP gas action for the past few months, and Toledano's lawyers are digging up every piece of ridiculous administrative evidence to work against us. And frankly, we're effing sick of it, and we're not going to stand for it.
Yeah.
I'm Holly Slayton. I'm a resident at 514 East 12th Street. We have 5 market rate tenants, 3 of them with no gas still for months, spending $3,700 a month on rent. We've had months of lead dust and rodent problems since Toledano took over the building. We've had serious upper respiratory infections, and it's just not acceptable.
So, when you're a tenant and you've lived in the building for 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and then suddenly your landlord sends this lawyer to your door and says, oh, by the way, you're living here illegally. You haven't lived here long enough, or we're going to question your lease. Why you can't renew your lease? That just ain't right. It's not right because of a landlord's greed, of his need to push rent-stabilized tenants out so he can make a windfall of money in a 5-floor luxury apartment with no elevator for $3,700, $3,800, $3,900 a month. This man is greedy, his agents are greedy, and we aren't going to stand for it anymore.
Right.
Well, just very simply, Nina D'Alessandro on 5th Street. When as many as 11 men in suits started pouring into our buildings, pounding or knocking on our doors, asking for access to our apartments, and refusing to identify themselves, just saying, when we asked, where are you from? Just saying, from the bank. And the next time they showed up, where are you from? From the insurance. We found it really disquieting and disturbing and threatening. And so we started talking with each other. First of all, there were 5 buildings affected on our block on 5th Street. And we held a meeting, and that's really where this coalition has come from. We found that despite, or maybe because of, the continuous frivolous lawsuits. For example, in my building, there's a playbook, and they started with the most, I don't know if you've talked about this already, but they started with the oldest tenants first. So people who were on spree, who were on fixed incomes and had government subsidy were hit first, literally with lawsuits that said they didn't have the right to live there. And it became obvious after, and then it sort of moved to other tenants. Single women is next, and again hit with frivolous lawsuits. And it became really obvious that the part of the playbook involves hitting the most vulnerable people first, making sure that they incur unmanageable legal fees fighting these frivolous notices, so that they are softened enough that they might be willing to take a low buyout. In my building, that's not been the case. Folks we're staying and fighting, and we're 100% with the tenants of this building. The organization has spread to over 20 buildings now in the East Village and in Chelsea. One of the ironic after effects or byproducts of this kind of assault on us and this attempt to divide us in order to conquer us is that the community has actually become stronger.
Woo!
Yes!
We eat frozen turkey together.
That's right. We eat frozen turkey together.
Can I also add that we have discovered when we have seen Toledano showing empty apartments, the ones that have walls still and floors, these apartments, and failing to mention that there's no gas in there. So he's actually willing, obviously, to rent to new tenants without disclosing what the battle is here. And we think that has to do with the fact that he's over leveraged himself, he's running out of money, and so we're kind of collateral damage, aren't we, you know?
So one of the things that's going to happen today at 2 p.m. At Housing Court is that 8 of the tenants from 325, this building has filed a lawsuit with HP Action Housing against Mr. Toledano and Brookhill Properties. That'll be happening today at 2 p.m. at 111 Center Street on the 11th floor. That's Part B, 1126. And as the TTC, as well as so many other grassroots organizations, are being represented by the CDP, which is the Urban Justice Center. With Stephanie Rudolph will be the attorney of note on this one today. And so we urge you to keep them in your thoughts. We urge you to continue the fight. And we really want to thank, again, Senator, thank you so much for coming out. You know, it's been a strange couple of weeks in America.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that someone is standing for the people, for change, and change. Let's do that. Let's change this around. Okay? Now, this very handsome young man with the red beanie on has press packets for the press, and as Trissy was saying, they'll be more than glad to take you on a tour and show you some of the common areas for the press if you'd like to see it. Please be our guest, and have a happy holiday, everyone, and enjoy the dinner. And I hope that we can do better next year than Frozen. So thank you very much, and thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
See you.